Good morning and welcome to your Partner in Success Radio. I am your host, Denise Griffitts. Today's guest, Sarah Cavallaro, has lived at the intersection of art, storytelling, and rescue. Those are not words you tend to put together, are they? She began her career in New York City, where she earned awards as an executive producer, known for discovering talent and bringing bold creative projects to life. But Sarah didn't stop there. She transferred her company, Emerald Films, into a venture focused on creating stories that inspire change. This episode of Your Partner in Success Radio is sponsored by Cynthia Kay, better known as CK. She is the founder of Cynthia Kay and Company, an award-winning media production firm and a recognized leader in the world of small business. And with more than 35 years of experience, CK has been helping entrepreneurs cut through the noise, grow their companies, and lead with clarity and confidence. She's also someone I deeply respect and admire. You can learn more about CK at cynthiakbiz.com. Now back to my guest. Sarah is she sent me a wonderful book. And Sarah, thank you for sending me that book, Dogs Have Angels Too. I was telling you in the virtual green room, I love that book. And you have built a life that blends art, storytelling, and rescue. Not things that, seriously, those are not words that you kind of, tag together. But before we dive into all of that, I would love to know, how do you like to show up in the world? And what's the most important thing that you want our audience to understand about you and your work and your rescue?
Hi, Denise. Thank you so much for having me on your beautiful podcast. And thanks, Cynthia Kay, for sponsoring it and supporting entrepreneurs because we need it.
We do.
So I just wanted to acknowledge that for sure, because that's an entrepreneurial move too. So, okay, you asked me, how do I want to show up, or how do I show up in the world? Well, I guess I was born naked.
Keep going. You can't stop there.
So Naked actually is a poem that I wrote a long time ago. And I think that it is, well, when you're naked, you can put anything, you're open, right, to many, many different ways to dress yourself, but also to warmth. You get to feel all your sensations. So, and you get to share what you get to need and to be needed. So, I think I've shown up in the world as somebody who wants to learn, somebody who wants to experience, somebody who wants to share. And, you know, obviously I don't want too much discomfort. Like when you're naked, you could be uncomfortable too, because you're very vulnerable. So, I mean, you have to mitigate that, and you try to handle that in the best way. You want to discover yourself. You want to discover your abilities. You want to share that. You want to be successful, but that's a bumpy road. And you want to believe in yourself and others and have great faith. I mean, these are all the ways that I think I've shown up in my, in my life so far.
That's
And
lovely. And
yeah,
I hadn't even thought about, of course, we're born naked. Of course we are. It's just one of those things we don't think about. We're born naked, we get our butt smacked, and off we go. It's just, okay, what's next? but
yeah.
but now I have to really give that some thoughts, and I will. And I wanted to ask you because, and I was telling you in the virtual green room, I love this book. I'm a pet lover. I've got cats and a dog. The dog is sitting here looking at me. Oh, I got mentioned. Normally it's the cats, but so I don't understand how people cannot have pets. I'll just put that out there. I just don't understand it. But each to their own. But you and I both agreed that we often, because you were telling me why you wrote this book, because you sometimes feel invisible no matter where we are in life, what we're producing, what we're doing. It's too easy to feel invisible. And I feel the same way. Clearly, I'm not, but I do feel that way. Imposter syndrome, I don't know what it is, but I love the book. All that to say, I really have enjoyed this book. And that leads me to my next observation or question. Dogs Have Angels too grew from a novel into a full brand. And tell our audience, if you would, what inspired the story and how did it evolve into a movement for underdogs? And everybody write that down. We're going to be talking about underdogs quite a bit.
Mm, well,
Sorry, I put you on the spot.
well, it's a in-depth story. I mean, it's okay. So it began with these. First of all, it began with me living in New York and watching people go through a lot of changes as well as myself. So I had owned this TV commercial production company years ago, and I would take lunch breaks and I'd sit in the park. I'd sit in Central Park, and I like observing people. So there's a homeless. I became friendly with the lady who had been a very big executive at one point in advertising, and then she lost her job and she was redefining her life. And I kind of got to know a lot of women like that were going through a lot of financial and emotional hardship. And I kind of took that aspect and created a character called Miss Pink. Miss Pink doesn't want to be invisible. Okay. This is the whole thing. And so what happened is she lost in the book. Okay. She loses her job, high powered job. She invests she invests with a Ponzi scheme guy and
Oh,
she
geez.
loses all her money. And she has to keep up, you know how you keep up pretenses. You don't want people to really know that things are bad. So she does that and she continues to look for jobs. She can't find any jobs because uh, they're receding. It's a recession in New York. And so she finds dog rescue as her way to not be invisible. And she doesn't particularly care for dogs, but she learns she's afraid of them. She's
Mm,
afraid of big dogs, but she
right.
learns to love them, to not be afraid. And she ends up being this top dog rescuer. But this is based on these characters that I had written earlier, many years. I have a lot of characters in this book that come from um, personal experiences of people. Um, so these two characters, this husband and boyfriend and girlfriend, young people, the boyfriend wants the girl to get rid of her dog because this dog has a bladder problem and she abandons her dog.
Oh,
So,
no.
yeah.
I would have
So,
gotten rid of him in a heartbeat.
and she doesn't get rid of him until it's so critical. And he doesn't like dogs. So he represents this group that doesn't have a lot of compassion for animals in need. And so I juxtapose him with her, who's so in love with her dog, but she ends up abandoning the dog. Miss Pink adopts the dog. She wants the dog back. And Miss Pink says, no, you better prove who you are before you get this dog. You better be deserving of this, what God gives us, what animals give us. So it's also that personal struggle of Cindy, this young girl's understanding that she has to respect, animals and herself, and she just can't discard what is not apparently useful or needs more work. Like people, like we discard them in our society when they're homeless or when they don't show up the way we want them to. I've kind of like drawn all these parallels to what we see as useful, what we don't see as useful, and that's what that underdog theory is.
And that makes sense. And listen, I live in Southwest Louisiana. I'm literally equidistant between Hurricanes Katrina and Rita. I got clobbered by both of them. What I saw a lot of, but people would not evacuate because they couldn't find a way to get their pets with them. They stayed with their pets for the most part. I also saw the opposite of that, where you'd see a dog tied up to a pole and the water was rising up to its nose.
It's
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah. Heartbreaking. It really is. And in that one particular instance, somebody spotted the dog and waded through all of this water, cut it loose, and took it home. But pets. My very dear friend emailed me or texted me in the wee hours this morning. Her quite elderly cat had died. We were expecting it, but she said, I can't stop crying. I said, well, you won't for a while
Mm.
because they're part of us, they're part of our lives. They're not just, eating food and pooping in the corner. They're part of our lives.
Well,
So
yeah, there's a spiritual connection and
exactly. That's what I was trying to say. And thank you.
yeah, I mean, deep, deep, deep spiritual connection. Like when you look at these little animals' eyes, you know, there's truly an unconditional love. And
Absolutely.
so, I mean, I think that's why animal pets are so important. But it's all how you treat your pet. That's the key. It's like, it's how you treat humans too. It's related
That's
actually.
it. That's exactly what I was trying to put my finger on. If you can't be good or compassionate with animals, no matter what's happening with them, you're probably not going to be the nicest human.
No.
It doesn't mean you have to have a house full of pets, but if you see a pet lying on the road dead, move it. Try to find its owner. You can be kind without having to actually spend a lot of money. Or, I mean, I've picked one up and took it home and buried it before. Wasn't my
Yeah.
cat. I'd never seen it before, but I did finally find who owned it on Nextdoor app. But if you can't understand or take care of animals, I don't want to know you. Truly, I don't.
Well, so look at the societies, like, uh, look at our societies. Now, our societies are in America, we really do care. I mean, we're spending a lot of money and a lot
Lots.
of
Yeah.
effort and public awareness. And, 70 plus people in this country have at least one pet.
Right.
So, okay, so we're living in this kind of society. There's other societies where they take the pets and they,
Eat
eat them.
them. They eat
Right,
them. Yeah.
right. And then you have to look at, who are these people in these societies and, do they have other food? Is it, is it out of necessity that they're starving to death? No. So, there's all these different cultures that operate with animals and there's a lot of, it's not just pets, but it's like, are you a meat eater? Are you you know, it goes through a lot of different areas, there's a lot of,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of, support now to not eat meat. There's, don't eat animals, don't do the, it's all over the place. But I'll tell you one thing, when you have a pet and you have a responsibility like a child, period, for
I agree.
that pet.
Yeah.
And otherwise, don't have the pet. Like, don't have the child if you don't know how to if you're not gonna be able to raise that child.
You know what? We were just talking about how fast time is going this year. It's September. We're looking at, Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas, and that spurred me to write a note. This is about the time, Christmas in particular, when pets are adopted
Mm,
and then they're turned right back around because they
oh,
bought the child wasn't given the pet they really wanted, or the pet wasn't whatever their reasons are. Christmas is a terrible time in many ways for pets.
see, I didn't
It's heartbreaking.
yeah. Yeah, they're not toys.
No, they are not. They're really not. And I wanted to ask you, what does the word underdog mean to you personally?
It has so many different meanings personally for me, but one is that person has n has it's somebody that has not had a lot of, opportunity,
Mhm.
shine, or it's been hurt, traumatized in some way, whether it's a person or an animal. It's been confined, it's the spirit's always there, soaring, but the physical and the emotional has been uh, really knocked down, repressed, damaged in some way. But the underdog has the ability to soar and win and be happy and be healthy. So there's two sides of it, like the underdog, you could say literally it's the underdog, the animal that doesn't have a home, that doesn't have, people that it's in a shelter, doesn't have love, from a family, wants to be adopted. But also people. Power to the underdog is power to all of us that have gone through enormous trauma, whether you're an animal or a person, a human.
Right. Mhm.
That's what I mean. And let me tell you, when that when that person or that animal has a little bit of something, love, anything that nourishes it, nourishment, it soars. And that's what I think
They
happens.
they do. I have a cat that lives outside. He's a feral. I named him Gideon. I've never been able to put hands on him. He showed up here well over a year ago as an undernourished little black cat and skittish as all get out.
Mm.
Now, because he shows up 7 a.m., 7 p.m., because he knows that's when I'm going to feed him. And he eats outside. My dog eats her bowls are outside on the back porch. They get along just fine. But he will have big conversations with one of my ginger cats. Hamilton is an ass. And they just chat back and forth. He won't come in. He won't let me touch him, but he knows he's okay. He knows he's safe.
Yeah, that's why he comes around. He
7
comes
a.m. I
around.
can tell time by that cat. It's
Isn't that
crazy.
interesting? And it
Yeah.
doesn't wear a watch, Denise.
No, I know he doesn't. I wanted to ask you, how have readers of Dogs Have Angels 2 responded? Are there any stories that really stick with you after you've read some of their comments or gotten emails from people?
Yeah, there's many people that have, like one lady, I just got a beautiful email from her that she was crying so much and that she understood that she felt like Miss Pink and that she had gone through being homeless and that she did have animals that helped her get back on track and feel useful and purposeful again. That was the most recent, like it came in 2 days ago. I was blown away.
When
So,
when people read books like this, in my opinion, they stick. They really do stick, and it gets them to, some introspection happens. You can be wandering around going, "Oh, life is good, life's great." Oh, maybe not. But when you read something like this and you read these stories, you're like, that happened to me, or I could be helpful in this arena. They stick.
yeah. I mean, it was written I ha it was written with, like, humor also. I wanted to be somewhat humorous, I didn't wanna it can't be it's not just a dark tale. I mean, it's depicting these characters and what they go through in New York as they rescue animals. So I had to have some kinda comedic elements because, and I felt that there was comedy in it too. I think there's comedy and tragedy. I mean, sometimes you laugh when it's so painful, so and you see kinda like the light through the darkness, so I tried to layer it. I think I did a interesting job layering it, and it's a very much a New York tale, in that it takes place in the streets of New York. Everything is about the streets of New York, but it's everywhere in the United States. It's an American story, actually, I feel, very much so.
It is. I mean, it doesn't have to. I actually just bypassed the whole New York streets. I was reading it from a place of, I've seen this, I've done this. I wasn't tagging it in my mind as, oh, this is about New York. It's not. It's about the human condition. It's about the pet condition. And I wanted to ask you, What's the dog on the cover? Is that a pit bull? Is it, no, it's not. It's a buck. What kind of dog is that? And
It's
what's
a
the
little bulldog.
story? Bulldog. What's the story?
I love the little bulldog, but the lady that designed the cover, she loves to draw dogs. And so she presented this little bulldog illustration, and I
You,
just
it's
loved it.
cute. Yeah. I looked at that and I went, what does that represent? I had to know.
Yeah, it's just kind of like this little dog that thinks it's the boss, you know?
Well, yeah. Don't they
But,
all?
it's not the boss, you know? So, but they're just adorable, So, and I love her illustrations. She's a very kind, sweet woman, and she just kind of makes the illustrations are simple, but they make me feel things, So I use that little illustration in all of the merchandise, but I have different, um, like sayings, phrases for the merchandise.
Well, tell me about those.
Oh, okay. So, I really love merchandise that has messages and simple, right? So I took the designs and we created, t-shirts and coffee mugs. We didn't create the coffee mugs, created the illustrations on the coffee mugs. It just to kind of give you a nice, kind of beautiful t-shirt with a little message about dogs. And one would be power to underdogs. Um, One is, love multiplies. So I'll have two little bulldogs on the cover.
Oh,
It's all about that.
and that makes sense. And I love graphic t-shirts, but they have to mean something to me if I'm going to put it on my body.
Yeah, exactly. And I like simplicity. So I like the simplicity of the illustrations. I don't like too much, when it's a busy t-shirt because I can't
Right.
read it. And so I created that, and I love doing that because I feel like everything is telling a little story, you know, and a little story. If you use 3 or 4 or 5 words to give you a little story, that's nice. It has a nice feeling to it.
And it gets you thinking. You don't need to write a thesis to get people to pay attention to you. You just need to say something that is short, pithy, and makes sense and gets people going, huh, let me think about that. If someone listening's, and then I want to move across to your different creative forms, but if anybody listening wants to know how they can get involved in rescue, where's a good place to start?
Well, you can start with your local rescue. I mean, you can volunteer. Like, I have a website. First of all, you can just Google rescues in your area, right? And you can go there and volunteer. That's one. But you can also, I mean, on my website, I have like, I think 10 or 11 interesting rescues throughout the United States, and they do different things. Like one is for senior dogs.
I
One,
think I know which one that is. I love that one.
yeah, one is for like training dogs for PTSD people, like service dogs. These are all rescues. I mean, it's amazing. Like you can do anything with it. Rescues are like so malleable.
And they're grateful. And you know what I'm seeing too, and you're probably seeing this as well, that a lot of prisons have
Yeah.
programs for inmates to train dogs. And it has made, from what I can understand, a great deal of difference in how the inmates are showing up as people, as humans now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. So some of the sayings that I have on the t-shirts are like biblical. I have God has plans that involve us. I have love one another as I love you, which is a passage from the Bible.
Mhm.
Um, I try to do it. I want to self-rescue. I did a little cute when self-rescue comes in all sizes. So I have little different sizes of the animals. Then I have self-rescue comes in every shade of pink. Just that's not biblical, but that's cute,
Right, right.
and I'm a survivor. What's interesting is I put I'm a survivor on one, and it was a pink T-shirt, and I had the breast cancer, um, one of the small organizations say, "Oh, are you talking about the breast cancer, organization?" I said, "No, I'm talking about the animals. The animals
Mhm.
survived. I'm a survivor." So they
Right,
wanted to maybe use it for the breast cancer, but, I'm using it for for the animals.
right, and that makes sense. And, honestly, I look at some of these I can't I'm gonna stutter here. I can't foster. I will foster fail every stinking time. I don't. I just don't. I know better. I've got cats, I've got a dog. I just can't. I can't do any more, but I do whatever I can to support rescues.
Yeah. I mean, when you go to the local rescue, okay, or you go to wherever you think you need to go to find these animals. First of all, there's animals on the street. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
not a lot of them. I mean, I don't see a lot anymore. Like in New York, I saw they would tie them. I lived in Brooklyn for a while. They would tie the animals up because it was a warehouse area and it was abandoned. This was before they gentrified it. And, I was living in an art community, Williamsburg, Brooklyn, which was like around the year 2000, it was still warehouses. Okay. And it wasn't high rises and fancy the way that it is now. And, they would abandon the dogs, tie them on the local, like near my building on the rail and literally walk away. So you were that was ground zero for dumping animals. And Bark, which was 2 blocks away, was a local animal shelter. Like yeah, a local animal rescue. So I would walk over there with the dog that would be abandoned. Sometimes they put him in boxes like carts, and it's crazy. They were so cruel, some people.
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't understand it. You see them with their snouts tied up and taped and thrown into dumpsters. If you don't want the dog, find it a new home.
well, you wanna I do that to you wanna have that person arrested.
Oh, I wanna reciprocate.
Right,
Reciprocate, absolutely, yeah. I don't even try to be kind when it comes to things like that.
well,
If you're cruel, you deserve it back.
I mean, I was witness to something so crazy, I don't even know if I'll share it, but it's not a pleasant story. In front of us in front of our building, a like a crate was dropped off that was wrapped clothing was wrapped around it, and it was moving, and I went out, my husband says, "No, don't touch it, let me open it up, let me take a thing and poke it. It could be a rat in there. You don't know. Don't open it because it could bite you. You don't know." So he slowly unwrapped it, uh, the the crate, and what was in the crate was a dog. We couldn't believe that somebody would do something like this.
They
And I
do it all the
actually
time.
wrote a little short story um, about this, and that got me into it. That got me really. This was like a long time ago, 25 years ago. Got me really into this whole writing about dog rescue,
But
not
look,
just living it, writing
right, right.
stories, narratives.
And this is one of those moments where you are forever changed.
Oh yeah.
It's, some days I just hate people. I really do.
Well, it's
I
hard to
shouldn't say
deal
that
with.
on the
But
radio.
it's a hard thing. You cannot believe it. It's an unbelievable experience. Like, how can anybody do this? And yet they
Yeah.
do. So that was one of the motivations actually for doing this work, doing my literary work with
And
that.
I'm glad you have. And
Yeah.
you have worked across so many creative forms, books, poetry, public art.
Yeah.
So how do you decide which medium fits a particular idea outside of your book?
Well, my the way I earned a living for many years was I owned a TV commercial production company. So I didn't, that was what I did. and to support all of the other stuff, right? Because you have to earn a living. Then, um, and I built a very, very good company, a beautiful company that existed for almost 30 years before I started to go full time into a lot of other areas, one being public art. And we started a nonprofit, Art Above Ground. It does socially impactful public art. I do it. My husband's an artist, so I do it with my husband. It's Cosimo Cavallaro. And then I write, and I've always written, and I've written several novels. But what I'm trying to do with this novel, Dogs Have Angels Too, is we had been commissioned to adapt it into a screenplay for a film, which we did. And now it's being shopped around. And that would probably be the most wonderful experience to share it visually and have it made into a film and a TV series. So that's kind of what the next step would be for this particular book.
I
Um,
love that.
yeah.
I didn't realize that. I don't think we spoke about that in the pre-interview or, any emails since, but that's wonderful. I hope it happens.
I hope it does too, Denise. My prayers are on it, and I really do because it's family friendly. It's not violent. It's inspiring. It's positive. It's heartfelt. It's interesting. It's fun. So I really hope that it moves forward in that way. It's showing it's showing people and animals in a different kind of way that I know there's beautiful dog movies that have been done. This is a little bit different. It's female centric. And, I hope that I hope it happens. It's not in my control at this point. Yeah.
Well, when it happens, let me know and we'll get you back on the show.
Thank you.
Not
Thank
if, when.
Yeah, when is
Yeah,
the word?
right. That's exactly right. And you have reinvented yourself from Emmy Emmy winning commercial producer to author, and you mentioned nonprofit leader. So here's might be a tough question. I'm not sure, but I have to ask. What advice would you give to others looking to make a bold career shift? Because as we talked at the very top, we both, sometimes think we're invisible. We're not. And I think my real point here, my real question is don't stay where you're unhappy. Don't stay where you feel like you are invisible and you're not bringing the real you to the world. So, what advice can you give?
Well, I think there's a lot of different yous in the world, like meaning we are always evolving. So what that's number
Constantly,
one.
every day, every day. I write notes. I call them God winks. All
Mm,
of a sudden, especially when I'm in the shower, I'll have this download, and I take bathtub crayons in the shower with me because once I'm relaxed and these downloads are coming and they're coming fast and furious, and I scribble all over the shower walls. But
wow.
in
I'd
at
like to
the
see
end of
your shower walls.
oh, I take pictures of it once the steam
Really?
yes, once the steam has gone away because I take my showers hot enough to steam broccoli, and I have to let it dissipate for a while, and I'll go take pictures of it, and then put it in my journals and my notes, this is a great idea, that one's not so great, maybe later. But I keep track of these downloads, these God winks, and I evolve every single day from that practice of taking a steaming hot shower. Go figure.
Well, that would make a really interesting book, actually, a visual book.
Really?
Yeah, it's very visual, what you're saying.
Well, okay. I'd never thought of it like that. I just thought I was going to, skin myself or steam myself to death. But
Mm,
I'm telling you, when my brain calms down, my ego calms down,
mhm.
miracles happen.
Yeah, you have to remove that part. I mean, my
Yep.
suggestion to anybody is when you start to feel that you're not giving anymore, like to that area, and it's kind of more routine, and it's getting a little boring.
Yeah, it
You
pays
know?
the bills, but so what?
Right, you need to move. You need to go to your challenge points where you're vulnerable, where you're rediscovering your self, all of your abilities. And you have to have a lot of faith actually at that point because it's a scary place and you don't know if you're going to be successful, right? You have to just walk it. You have to walk it in order for it to open up. You need to do the work first before it opens up. So if you have the intention, you have the interest, you have the commitment, you have to go through all of the, challenges, then that's what I think an entrepreneur is actually.
Imagination as well.
Yeah,
You can't start anything without it becoming built in your imagination.
exactly.
That's where I start. If I can imagine it, I could probably do it until or unless I think, that wasn't a great idea. It was fun, but it's not really what I want to do. And then I imagine something else.
Right. And then when you start to manifest your imagination, you may realize, okay, that's not the right direction. Now I got to tweak
Right.
here, I got to tweak it there, because you see the end picture. One sees the end picture, but the road is not clear. You have to. It's almost like that yellow brick road. Slowly,
Right.
slowly, slowly. Follow that yellow brick road. You
But
know.
what does the road look like? Are you going up and down? Are you going around? Are you stuck in Houston? What
Right.
does that road
That's where
look
the
like?
faith is. That's where the
Right.
faith and commitment, and you can't you kind of like have to go work through your fear no matter what. You have to step through that fear.
You know what I've noticed? This is going to sound probably a little bit arrogant, but I find that most entrepreneurs are largely fearless. We don't even bother to get in our own way. We have a path, whatever that path looks like. We may not be able to see that road, but if we're convinced that what we're doing is something we must do, we just do it. We take action, as Dr. Napoleon Hill used to point out in Think and Grow Rich. Take action. And I do. Listen, I became a podcaster after I accidentally became a guest on a podcaster one day almost 18 years ago. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was just an interview until I hit the link and heard my own voice and went, oh my God, because I think I sound ridiculous. And I called her and I said, what the hell was that? She said, Denise, that was a podcast. I said, what the hell is a podcast? And excuse the language, but this is a true story. And she told me, and I was a podcaster the next day. I didn't stop and think about it. I knew I had to do it.
Well, you are natural because your voice is beautiful,
Oh,
and
thank you.
how you could not think your voice is, I mean, it's stunning.
I always think I'm going to sing Happy Birthday, Mr. President. I think I sound ridiculous. But no, we don't like our own voices. That's a
No, I
given.
don't know why. See, that's another issue. That's also, why don't we like our voices?
I
No
don't know.
kid, we
Nobody
don't like that.
does.
It's
Yeah,
like,
it's like I sound terrible. No, you don't.
I know, I know. I mean, I feel the same. A lot of people feel that. And it's sad that we do. It's not right. We should reprogram our brains to like our voices.
I'm gonna have to work. Actually, I never go listen to myself. So I'm here, I'm listening to you, I'm taking notes, I'm fully alive to what we're talking about. I don't need to go back and listen to it. So that's how I keep myself sane. Oh, that went well. Okay, bye. Off we go. And then I'm off to the next thing. Looking back at your time in Emmy level commercial production, what lessons from that world still guide you?
Well, the award is it's called a Clio and a Mobius. That's what it is for
Right,
the
right.
commercials. Um, what motivated me? Did you ask me that? Is that what you said? Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, what I was asking you is what lessons from that world still guide you?
Oh,
I'm
what
sure there were lessons that you just went, "Oh, that hurt."
perseverance,
Aha, there it is.
perseverance, and honesty, and transparency, and service. I was always at service to the clients. I loved, being of service to the directors and, to the TV commercial directors that we represented and produced for, and to the clients that were our clients, like that were our advertisers, like, the big Fortune 500 companies at the time, fast food industry, the cosmetic business. automotive business. These were our clients, and we loved being at service and making great commercials for them.
So, when did you move out of that?
Oh, 06.
Huh, what happened in '06?
I, I had been in the business for really 30 years, around there, that number. And I didn't have that same need. I wanted to explore other parts of my life. I wanted to write full time. I wanted to produce the art, the public art that I do with my husband. Uh, I had other um, interests that really were consuming me.
So it was time. And you've mentioned your husband and the work that you do with him. So let's talk a bit about that because I don't think our audience knows what we're talking about.
Well, he's world renowned, and his name is Cosimo Cavallaro, and he created a chocolate Jesus sculpture years back that became a very big news story. He did Twiggy and Cheese. He works with perishables, and he creates these incredible art installations: cheese house, cheese wall on the border, ketchup classroom, and everything is socially impactful and absolutely gorgeous art. He's a very wonderful artist. Check him out.
I did. And I think I saw some years back the chocolate Jesus, and it's looked so familiar to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So
talk
that's
about the time. I mean, you're still working with him, you're still working with
yep,
these installations, and you're doing dog rescue,
yep. Dog rescue and writing. I just finished another
writing.
that I wrote. I wrote I just finished a novel called For Real, and it's about two young women who moved to New York after graduating from college, and they pursue their dream jobs, but they also have to deal with their messy lives. So it's kind of like following what young women are going through now in love.
Real life.
Yep, and how they choose love. What does love mean for them? It's exploring that.
You know, that's always a big question. What does love mean to you? And I'll be honest with you, Sarah, it can change from day to day for me.
It changes for one of the characters in there too.
I'll have to read it. But
I
yeah,
haven't
it's
gotten it published yet. I literally
oh,
finished it.
well, stay in touch and let me know. But I mean,
I'm looking for an agent, uh, to represent it, actually. If anybody's up they're interested, I'm very much looking for an agent or a small publisher. So
talked to Ken Atchity,
okay.
my
Well, we
friend. He's a very different mind. You'll love him, but Ken Atchity, I'll make the introduction.
oh, thank you.
Yeah, and
Great.
he works with people. He edits books. He does whatever you need to do. But the Meg, I've never watched it, but he's produced books that went on to be huge blockbuster movies. I mean, he knows his stuff.
Okay,
And
that's
he's
great.
delightful, delightful. I've got a list of about 5 favorite people in the world, and he's in that list. So,
Oh, okay, that would be very
yeah.
helpful to me because that's
Yeah.
kinda like the goal on that book right now because it's already edited. It needs an agent to move it forward or a publisher.
Right. Well, go to storymerchant.com. I
Okay,
bet you've come across him before, but Story Merchant, Ken Atchity.
okay. But I'll wait for your introduction.
Yeah, I'll make the
Thank
introduction.
you.
So,
Thank you, thank you.
he'll pay attention if I say, "Hey, can you talk with her?" So
Exactly, like when you cold call that's another thing for entrepreneurs in your audience. Cold calling, I used to do a lot of that too, and I still do, because if you want to move a project forward, you have to meet people you've never met,
you
and
do.
sometimes
It's uncomfortable,
it's
but
very uncomfortable, and that's
yeah,
like the process of moving things forward, whether you're raising money or you're trying to get an agent or you're whatever you're trying to do. And now with everybody you're not able to really cold call because they don't have these corporate phone numbers the way they used to. they have just personal cell phones. You're now stuck into the email cold calling, and that is the hardest thing. But if you can get somebody on the phone, you will, and the right person on the phone, you have a big chance of moving your project, or at least, knowing where you stand in that situation and moving it forward.
You do, and you're right, and so many people I think you and I were talking a bit about AI before we went live,
Mm,
and as much as I love I really don't like when new little companies, they might be podcast bookers, there are podcasts now that are pure AI. No. No, no, but that's a whole 'nother topic.
mm,
But you're right, if you can't talk with somebody or you know somebody who can introduce you to that person,
exactly.
use your connections, I guess, is my point. Entrepreneurs really do want, and I've said this for years, we want to see you survive. We want to see you thrive. If you ask us a question, we're going to try to answer it. We're not going to ignore you.
Mm,
So ask. Get in touch with people who may know so and so who knows this. So, listen, this is what I'm up to. This I would love an introduction if you would feel comfortable in doing so. Most of the time, if you approach it properly, you're going to get a yes.
yes, exactly. I agree, and it's all about people helping other people if they can
Exactly.
do it. And so I
Yeah.
thank you for offering that
Oh
information.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
really appreciate it.
Oh, Ken's wonderful. He really is. I've got most of his books in this room. I've got hundreds of books in here, hundreds, and they've all been gifted to me like people like you, and I
Mm,
treasure every single one of them. I read them, I write about them, I market them for you.
mm.
I'm a reader. Don't hand me a TV remote. I probably won't know how to operate the darn thing, or it's underneath the couch cushion, but give me a book, I'm all happy. And I wanted to ooh, we are running out of time. What piece of advice do you wish someone had given you earlier in your journey, all of your journeys?
Yeah, to
I
believe
know. I know, that's a
to
big
to
one, huh?
no, no, it's to believe in yourself.
Yes.
I really truly wished that I had teachers at the time, or when I was growing up, that would have said, "Oh my god, you have something to say, just believe in yourself." Instead of just, that would have been for me a really important piece of advice.
And it's something you can't just go, "Oh, yeah, thanks." Listen, I didn't know that I was good at sales. I also didn't know that I was a born creative. Nobody ever told me.
Right.
How weird is that?
It's unfortunate actually, because I think a lot of these kids growing up, they need positive, positive, and not, blow, up their blow in their ear, senseless stuff, like really heartfelt, intentional, support.
And you know what that looks like to me, Sarah? Shutting up and listening.
Mm,
Too many people are just, "Oh, well, try this and go do this, and, here's some advice whether you wanted it or not." They're not listening.
mm-mm.
Listening is a skill that we should all develop.
Yes.
That sounded heartfelt. Listen, what I wanted to go back to rescue again because it's so, so important, and it's very much what you're doing now. What has rescue work taught you about resilience and compassion?
Well, that I can do it. I mean, that I can be effective and help. And compassion, I'm always I actually feel compassionate to animals and people who need help. I feel them. I feel their needs. So I actually want to help with whatever I can help with to make their life, whether you're an animal or human being, but really animals too. I mean, what can I do to help them? I do what I can do. I can't do everything.
Right. And that goes back to what we were talking about a bit earlier, how can you help? There are so many ways, shelters, veterinary offices who do boarding, they need blankets. They always need
Yeah.
blankets. They need towels. Don't throw them away. If they're in decent shape, haul them off to your veterinarian. My vet called me. I have a 20-year-old cat, Odalie, and she needs insulin. She's had insulin for 5 years now. And they called me and said, "Listen, we had a cat die, and his insulin was just we just gave the client the insulin, and he died the next day. She hadn't even opened the bottle. She wants to donate it. Would you take it?" And I said, "Oh my God, absolutely. It's $100 a bottle." I said,
Mm,
"Absolutely." But I said, "I need to know, I need to be able to send her a thank you card." So I went and picked up the insulin and I left her. The cat's name was Cat. So
cat. That's
Cat,
cute.
yeah. So I left a card for Cat.
Mm,
There are so many things that you can do, but I wrote this down while we were talking. One of the things that you can do is make it part of your will, make it part of your estate. Go back to your website, find a rescue or something that you really like what they're doing and leave them something in your will.
oh,
That's
yeah.
another way to do it.
People do that. My girlfriend redid her will recently, and she doesn't have children, and she's gonna leave most of her money to she allotted, a couple of rescues, and that's that.
Right. And so is my best friend. We just finished I'll be your trustee, and she said, "Listen, my siblings don't need anything from me." I said, "Yeah, but pet rescues do." And that's what happened. So,
Yeah.
Sarah, thank you so much
Oh.
for joining us here today and for reminding us that each of us has the power to activate our best selves, lift others up, and spread kindness. So, where can our audience connect with you, and where can they find your book, Dogs Have Angels Too?
They can connect with me on my website, dogshaveangels2.com. And that's direct to me. And then you can buy the book either through the website, or you can go through Amazon, or you can go through Barnes and Noble. I mean, it's everywhere. You could Google, search it, and dogshaveangels2.com. And you have various places. Amazon's easy because if you're part of Prime, they do a free delivery. So, but there's a lot of other you can go to local bookstores and order it. I mean, you can do anything. It's out there, period. It's out there.
It is.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
there an audio version?
No, I only have
Oh,
I would love to do an audio version, um, but I haven't done it yet. And I have an ebook and a printed book, but audio would really be the way to go. I agree. I hope that happens soon.
it will.
Thank
I never say if, I always say when. So,
When?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that way
When.
it's cemented in my head. It's going to happen. I'm going to do it. Moving on. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, listen, it has been a real pleasure talking with Sarah Cavallaro, and from her award-winning work in New York to her book, Dogs Have Angels Too, and honestly, go get it. It'll be easy to spot on your bookcase because it's pink. You're not going to be able to miss it. Like I said, I've got hundreds of books in here, and I had it in the bookcase until it was time to read it again. I didn't have to look. I just thought, "Oh, pink, there it is." I found it. So, and you can learn more at dogshaveangels2.com. And Sarah, thank you for being
Thank
here and for sharing your work with us.
Thank you so much, Denise, and thank your audience for listening and your sponsor for caring to sponsor this, and I appreciate it, and God bless you, and thank you.
Thank you, and same to you and all of the work you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Get your voice heard. If you would like to launch your own far-reaching podcast, contact Denise Griffitts at yourofficeontheweb.com and go to the podcast tab.